Welcome into the Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us as we look back on the Baltimore Ravens' 23-20 win over the Cleveland Browns today to put the Ravens at 4-3 on the season. And I got to tell you, looking at this game for the Ravens, it wasn't the prettiest performance by any means, and the statistics certainly show that. We'll dive into all that here in just a second. But a win's a win. And the biggest thing for this Ravens team that they were able to do in this game, comparably speaking to one of the biggest issues we've talked about with this Ravens team for quite some time over the last few weeks to begin this season, is they finished this game. Although the Browns made it interesting there towards the end, the Ravens still found a way to win. And so it wasn't the sexy win, but you got the W, took care of business against a division rival. You'll take that. So with that, if you're a diehard fan and loved that Ravens win, and I know you did, subscribe to the channel. We're covering the latest Baltimore Ravens news and rumors, trades, free agency, and more each and every day right here on the Ravens Rundown. If you're a real one, if you're a real Ravens fan, subscribe to the channel now so you never miss a moment. If news breaks, trade happens, game recap, whatever it may be, we're going to cover it all here on the channel. So, sub for dubs, as we say here on the channel. You love that Ravens win, subscribe to the channel now. You'll be glad you did. So let's go over these statistics here for you, this performance from the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, not his best day, 9 of 16, 120 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. The best thing statistically from Lamar Jackson today, no turnovers. Going into today, Lamar Jackson was on pace to have 17 interceptions on the season, an interception for every game. No interceptions today, no fumbles today. Wasn't the most flashing game, but at least he didn't turn the ball over, so he had that going for him. Gus Edwards, his first game back in a long time, and Gus Edwards did a really good job. 2 touchdowns, 16 carries, 66 yards. Liked what I saw from Gus Edwards in his first game back. That was good to see. And to think, too, that they were on a time crunch with Gus Edwards. They were coming close to having to decide, is Gus going to be back in time to beat the deadline for the end-of-season IR? And he beat it. And not only did he beat it, but he looked good doing it, too. So good for him. Rashod Bateman, his first game back after missing 2 straight games. Good bounce-back performance for Bateman, 4 catches, 42 yards in the win. So what's your one-word reaction to the Ravens' performance against the Browns on Sunday? For me, my one word is good. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a loss, but it was good enough, okay? You look at this, and there's some positives you can take away. There's certainly some things this team could do better, but you finished a game. You took steps in the right direction. And your players that have been hurt, like your Gus Edwards is, your Rashod Batemans of the world, not only did they come back, but they made an impact right away, steps in the right direction. To me, that's the biggest thing you loved. It was a good performance. It was good enough to get the win done. So speaking of the good, let's go over what was the good of this game for the Ravens. Well, Gus Edwards. Look, Gus Edwards, to me what's so fascinating is we have seen throughout this year, guys, that when the Ravens have brought guys in, this running game, it's taken them a while to get up to speed. Remember, when J.K. Dobbins came back, they didn't throw him right into the fire right away. He was very limited what he could do. And, they brought in Kenyon Drake. And Kenyon Drake wasn't great out of the jump, although he played really good last week. Gus Edwards, first game back, and it's like he never missed a beat. He was on it right away. So that was awesome to see that not only did you get Gus Edwards back, but you got him playing at a high level too. And we all wondered with his type of injury, would he be the same player that he was before? And Gus Edwards did not look like he'd slowed down at all. Over 4 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. I like what I saw from Gus Edwards. He was very good. Rashod Bateman. Now, the last 2 weeks showed that this Ravens team badly needed Rashod Bateman back. I mean, things have been bad for this receiving core without Rashod Bateman. And Rashod Bateman, 4 catches, 42 yards, tied for the team lead in receiving yards with Devin Duvernay, who had 2 catches for 42 yards. But here's the thing. This was not Mark Andrews' day. And Rashod Bateman, Devin Duvernay, those guys stepped up. They filled the void. They did what needed to be done in the receiving corps. And so for Rashod Bateman to play as well as he did, coming off of injury, step in the right direction. And remember, you get Deshaun Jackson next week. He should be activated and be ready to go for this game coming up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You could feel optimistic about this receiving corps going forward. That, hey, Bateman's only going to get better. And Devin Duvernay, this receiving corps is young. You add Deshaun Jackson to the mix. Watch out. The best football for this Ravens team, I think, is still ahead of them in a big part because of that receiving corps. Next, Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen this year in 2022, it's been a mixed bag. I think a lot of Ravens fans have talked about that he's kind of left a lot to be desired. And it felt like a breakthrough game of sorts for Patrick Queen today. 11 tackles, had a sack, 3 tackles for loss, a quarterback hit, really caused problems for Jacoby Brissett. Defensively, I liked what I saw from Patrick Queen. And this is what the Ravens have been wanting to see from Patrick Queen, was this caliber of play. And he finally showed up and showed out. So credit where credit's due to Patrick Queen to do what he did. Now, name an MVP for the Ravens today. Look, I mean, what are you going to choose? You're going to go Gus Edwards with his 2 touchdowns? You go Rashod Bateman with his bounce-back game? Who's it going to be? Maybe you go defensive with Patrick Queen or somebody else. Whoever it may be. Let me know in the comments section. Name an MVP for me for the Ravens' performance today, getting the win done against the Browns. Today's show is presented by BetUS, the exclusive sportsbook partner of Chat Sports. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, use the promo code CHAT125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. You put $100 down, you get $125 to spend for free. Chatsports.com/bet. You can bet on Thursday night's game against the Bucs or other NFL action. Maybe you're into the MLB playoffs or the NBA, whatever it may be. You can bet now at chatsports.com/bet. All right, the bad, Mark Andrews. The stat sheet was skunked. That's what they call it, right? Yeah, skunked. Didn't have any catches, nothing. And I felt like it kind of got jinxed a bit because the Ravens put out a tweet earlier this morning about him being the best tight end in football. And there was nothing to show for it today. I mean, I like Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews, I think, is one of the best tight ends in football. It's National Tight End Day, too, and he didn't have anything to show for it. So, very uncharacteristic game for Mark Andrews. I'll say this, though. Other players, I'd be worried. But Mark Andrews, he's going to bounce back. He's a talented player, one of the best in the league. It's not the end of the day. They still won. We're having a different conversation about Mark Andrews in this situation had they lost, but they didn't. Everyone stepped up fine. And you talk about timing, imagine if this would have happened the last couple of weeks when no one else was playing good in the receiving corps. Things worked out that Rashod Bateman was back this week. So, not worried. Not great for what we saw from Mark Andrews, but things are going to be okay. Lamar Jackson also. Not his best performance, 9 of 16, 120 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Did run the ball fairly well, 10 carries, 59 yards on the ground. I like that Lamar didn't turn the ball over, but he could have still done more as far as being explosive in the passing game and the running game. Would have liked to see more out of Lamar Jackson, but he didn't turn the ball over. Look, this was not a sexy win. This was not pretty, but you won against a division rival. You got guys that are on the way up. Gus Edwards took a big step in the right direction. Rashod Bateman bounced back and took a big step. It wasn't pretty, but it was good enough. It was good enough to get the job done and get the win. You move to 4-3. And the way that this division race is playing out, you are right in the thick of things. And so, while I understand for you Raven fans out there that this season has been a bit frustrating, and I get that. Things have not gone the way you'd have liked. And you could argue this team should be 6-1 or 7-0 right now. You could argue that. At the end of the day, even with all this team has been through, 4-3, tied for first place in the division. I think things are fine, and they'll get better. I can tell you that right now. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Tyler Jones Live, talking about your Baltimore Ravens. And I'm telling you on social media why you shouldn't spend fourth-round picks on kickers. Shout out Cade York there. Nice finish of the game, bud. We'll see you next time here on the Ravens Rundown. Appreciate you joining us.